Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, predicting the rankings for the team for offense and defense, top 3, top 5, top 10, stuff like that. I think I made a video a long time ago, a couple months ago during the early parts of the offseason. Looking at that now with the roster being finalized, I think it's a perfect time to revisit this whole rankings right here. I'm excited to talk about this. I hope you guys are as well. A lot of excitement for the next week or two, and then we'll play some actual football, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday against the Detroit Lions. I can't wait to do edge-to-edge and prediction videos on Monday and Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. Nothing too crazy for me. Let's just get this started. But before I do, as always, please like and subscribe. Do all that cool stuff. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Podcast page, if you haven't already checked it out, on Apple and Spotify. Link will be in the description below. TikTok page, if you guys want to follow me there for 49er updates on my channel, and also the 49ers. Link will be in the description below as well. I'll try to get even more active during the regular season. I can't wait to talk about that. And let's get this started. 49ers predicting the rankings for offense and defense. First off, let's talk about the offense. The interesting part, I would say, for this whole video. Defense, I think we know what the defense already is, but offense, they have a lot of potential. They have great talent, great coaching, one of the best offensive minds in the NFL, and Kyle Shanahan. I think Mike McDaniel is going to do a great job as well, being the offensive coordinator. Quarterbacks, that's probably the biggest question mark, I would say. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch has alluded to try to do a 2-quarterback system during the whole season. Do I believe that's going to happen? Most likely not. I think they're just toying around with the media, to be honest with you. I've always been that type of guy where Kyle Shanahan doesn't really want to give too much to the media because it's the media, right? I mean, who wants to believe them? But looking at the whole situation, the way I see it, Jimmy Garoppolo will be the starter, and he'll be playing probably about 95% of the time. Trey might get into some situational football or garbage time or anything like that just to get some playing time. And the only way Trey starts full-time is if Jimmy either has terrible performances or, unfortunately, if he gets injured. I hope he doesn't. I think this time around, Jimmy is going to try to stay healthy as much as he can. He's going to try to minimize the mistakes, not to take too many risks, I would say. He has to really be careful what he does because he can lose his job real quickly. And once they go back to Trey Lance, they will never go to Jimmy ever again. So he has to be careful on that. He needs to be motivated, and I think that's what he is this whole offseason up until this point, is to stay motivated and still be the starter for the 49ers for the rest of the year. Next year, I don't know, but you just got to think about this year, one game at a time. And if you do that, you have a very good chance of going back to the playoffs and hopefully the Super Bowl. So he has led this team to a Super Bowl once. He could do it again, I believe, in my opinion. Running backs, awesome running back system. I'm glad they kept all the guys that they were able to. I was kind of disappointed that Gallman's not in the team, but I like who they have right now. Raheem Mostert, Elijah Mitchell, Trey Sermon, Jermichael Hasty, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. when he does come back after week 6. That is an awesome lineup right there. Wilson, I'm going to be missing him definitely because I'm a huge fan of his. I love the underdog players that are late round draft picks or undrafted players trying to prove themselves. And for the most part, under John Lynch's leadership, they have been able to get a lot of that oomph or the production out of these late round draft picks. I'm so excited for that. And the running backs, I mean, all of them were pretty much drafted late or undrafted players in general, if you guys haven't noticed that already, except Trey Sermon. He was a 3rd round draft pick, but even then, that's not a 1st or 2nd round for a running back. They have a potential to do great things, and I think they're going to take a lot of pressure off the quarterbacks. Wide receiver, tight ends, it looks great. I'm pretty not surprised about anything. Tight ends, nothing too crazy. It would have been nice to keep Jordan Matthews, but you know what? He's going to have to find another way to get back to the 49ers eventually. Wide receiving core, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, I think they're going to be the most improved players, in my opinion, on the offensive side of the ball. Ayuk has so much potential, and I looked at his statistics from 2020. He almost caught for almost 750 yards, which is surprising because he wasn't on the field too often, but when he was able to make a big difference, light it up, and I hope he lights up even more, gets some more touchdowns. Deebo, he's the big X factor, in my opinion, for the offense. If he can get going, this offense cannot be stopped at all. Nobody can stop this offense if Deebo is available to play. He does so much, and running game, I think that's the biggest attribute that he has over anybody else, is he can be very effective in the backfield when they do those quarterback slides or whatever you want to call it. He's just amazing, and I'm a big fan of his. I'd love to put him as the number 1 receiver, but Ayuk is more the prototypical receiver. But Deebo can do everything, and he's a big difference maker. When he's on the field, they win. When he's not on the field, they lose a lot of games. He is an important player for the receiving core. I'm hoping he can stay healthy all year long. Offensive line, I think it looks set with Trent Williams, Alex Mack, all those guys. McGlinchey, he should have a bounce-back year. That's going to be exciting. I think he's not going to be any rusty or shy or intimidated like he was in 2020. I know there was a lot of circumstances with 2020 with everything, but he had a terrible year. Let's just say that. I think he's going to have a much better year in 2021. So if I'm looking at all the rankings for the 49ers on offense, I could say potentially they could be at the bare minimum top 8. I think they're all the way. What I believe is they could be top 5. I think that's really reasonable right there. I think there's a lot of great offenses in the NFL. You can look at towards our NFC West, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Rams. They have great offenses. They can make something happen, so they could be ranked higher than the 49ers. You have other teams outside that can do great as well. But the 49ers, I have them at most to be top 5 coming at the end of 2021 regular season. I think that's really reasonable, and we'll see if that happens at the end of the season. Top 5, not too bad. Defense, I think this is a pretty obvious one. They could be top 3, maybe even top 1. I would not be surprised if they were the top defense in the NFL. Yards allowed, I think a lot of people look at that attribute even more because actually the 49ers were very good last year in terms of yards allowed. I think they were like the 5th or 6th team that allowed the least amount of yards per game, which was surprising because we had a lot of injuries, but Robert Saleh was able to do a great job and will these guys into great defensive performances. The one against Washington really stands out, in my opinion. Although we lost the game, Alex Smith nor Dwayne Haskins could do anything. It was just that Nick Mullins kind of muffled the whole game essentially and gave the game all the way to Washington, which was really disappointing right there. But still, awesome performance by them, and that was probably their highlight of the year in 2020 last year, and the Rams game as well. Defense, I mean, I can say it all over again. The defensive line, it looks absolutely dominant with Nick Bosa and Dee Ford. Hopefully making an appearance in 2021 instead of just playing one game. Hopefully he plays all 16, 17 games this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but as long as he can play some snaps, about 40%, I think that's reasonable for him. I think that's a really good production right there. The linebacking core, one of the best in the NFL, in my opinion. You have the best linebacker in Fred Warner. I know that's a little biased to say, but you look at his gameplay, you look at his statistics, you can't go wrong with that at all. Dre Greenlaw, Al Jazeera, all those guys, they do a very good job, and that's all I could pretty much say for that linebacking core. Defensive backs, a little bit shaky, I mean, as always for the past couple of years now, but I'm feeling really comfortable with the young guys like Ambry Thomas, Lenore, all these other guys. Hufanga, I think he's going to be a big part of the rotation for safeties, and Travarius Moore right now is currently on the PUP list, so he won't be eligible to return until week 7. You got Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward, Jason Verrett. I think Verrett's going to be the big X factor here. Can he shut down like he did last year in 2020? He was fantastic. Comeback player of the year potentially, had Alex Smith not been comeback player of the year. I mean, he definitely deserves it after the injury he came through. If I'm looking up for the defense, I'd probably say they're top 3, maybe top 1. Not surprising at all if they're top 1. A lot of people already have them ranked high in terms of defense, and with D'Amico Ryans leading this defense, I think it might take even a bigger notch than what it was with Robert Saleh. Ryans, as you all know, used to be an NFL player, Pro Bowler, All-Pro guy, and being able to coach Fred Warner, the linebacking core. I think him taking the control of the defense, it should be even better. I think it's going to be even more physical than what it was with Saleh. That always happens pretty often, but, Ryans I'm a big fan of, definitely. I never thought he was going to be a coach in the NFL, let alone a defensive coordinator, but I'm glad to have him on board. And if he does really well, maybe next year he can get another coaching offer from a lot of teams as head coaching open, definitely, in 2021. So, yep, that's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the whole 49ers offense and defense. How do you have them ranked prediction-wise for the 2021 season? I like what you had to say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up hopefully tomorrow on Thursday, if not a Friday. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day. Football all day.